Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining me for our beginner seminar on gardening in a post-apocalyptic world. As we navigate the challenges posed by the 2025 global EMP and the subsequent industrial accidents at the chemical plant and the oil refinery, our ability to grow our own food safely and sustainably has never been more critical. Today we'll cover safety precautions, soil and water testing, location considerations, soil preparation, as well as seed selection to ensure our gardening success in these difficult times. I would also like to give credit to the Birch Library, as well as our wonderful new employee for helping me out with the preparation for this seminar, especially these soil portions. So, let's first start with the absolute most important thing is safety. Our number one rule is gloves always. We have here at the library gardening gloves, as well as latex and nitrile gloves for you to use. It's very, very important due to the potential for contamination in our soil and water for you to always wear gloves, protect your hands and your skin from any harmful chemicals. Next, we need to discuss the importance of testing your soil and your water. As we know, after the global EMP, Greenhaven experienced a couple of very severe ecological disasters, which has significantly affected our local environment. At the chemical plant, there was an abrupt cooling system shut off, which led to an explosion, which released countless pollution into the environment, into the water, and into the air. And the second happened at the oil refinery, where a fire broke out, which, as some of us remember, burned for weeks and weeks and led to a lot of contaminated runoff from the surrounding forests. So that's why it's very important to test your local soil as well as any soil that you're able to purchase, maybe from outside sources, as well as test your water. So at the library, we have soil testing kits. You can bring in a small sample of your soil and we can test your soil for you. I'll show you how it goes. So I can show you what's in here. Our soil testing kit tests 4 different factors of your soil and your water. pH test. This is crucial to ensure that your pH levels in your garden soil are safe and viable for gardening. We're always looking for a range of around 5 to 7.5 pH. Anything above or below that is going to severely affect your garden. Also, we want to make sure that contamination isn't too high, causing chemical burn to your plants. So we have ammonia, potassium, and nitrogen tests. Typically, before the widespread chemical contamination, these sorts of tests were used to determine the fertilizer availability of your soil. However, now, with an abundance of chemicals in the soil, we like to determine that there isn't too much of these chemicals, which is going to severely negatively affect your output. Another thing you can do is install rainwater harvesting systems. This can reduce your reliance on potentially contaminated water sources, providing a much safer alternative to your plants. We've discovered that rainwater is currently quite safe. Acid rain is actually mainly caused by industrial pollution, and our industrial pollution, after the accidents at least, has gone down quite significantly. You can come right to the library to use these resources. Thankfully, the Birch Library has provided us with these testing kits. Our next main consideration is location. If you live near where the chemical plant and the oil refinery were currently, your gardening ability is going to be significantly reduced, as well as if you live at any of the locations close to the river where the chemical runoff was quite significant right after the EMP. In cases like this, we highly recommend you attempt an indoor hydroponic system, especially if you have solar panels and you are reliant upon your solar panels. If you're currently still using gas generator for your power, then keep in mind that the energy consumption can be quite significant to power indoor lights as well as pump systems. So just keep that in mind. And if you can invest in a solar panel system, your chances of success are much higher. Additionally, container gardening is also an option for you, but just keep in mind and keep your expectations in check, because your yield for container gardening is going to be much lower, and it also reduces your options for vegetables that you can grow in containers. Okay. Next, we're going to discuss soil preparation, and I have a couple of soils up here to show you how we do a standard preparation for garden soil. So everyone, please come and take a look. Proper soil can make all the difference in improving your garden's yield, plant health, and overall chance of success. And of course, always wear gloves, safety first. So, we're going to focus on creating a balanced, loamy soil with sand, clay, and silt, as well as carbon. This is the ideal mixture because it promotes healthy root development, nutrient absorption. So let's talk about all of the components in a loamy soil. The first one is up here, and it is sand. Sand improves drainage and aeration of the soil. It also helps prevent waterlogging, which can suffocate plant roots and lead to rot. And In the current climate conditions where rain is unpredictable, proper drainage with sand is absolutely crucial. Now moving on to the next important component, which is clay. Clay particles are very fine and can retain water and nutrients, but clay by itself can cause soil compaction. When mixed with the other components, it contributes to the soil's ability to hold moisture and nutrients, providing a more stable environment for plants. And now, sitting in between sand and clay is silt. Silt particles are medium-sized and help balance the drainage of the sand and the nutrient holding capacity of the clay. Silt makes the soil more smooth textured and makes it easier to work with, while also supporting the plant's roots. Equal parts of sand, clay, and silt, we can create a loamy soil. And also with the addition of a bit of carbon. Charcoal to soil helps absorb and remove impurities. Charcoal also improves the soil structure, enhances drainage, and reduces toxicity from our current environmental contamination. It also helps support the growth of beneficial microorganisms, further enhancing the soil's health. Free to take a sample of our loamy soil home with you, at least as an example. When you're mixing up your own soil, you can check the consistency of yours as well as the material quality and compare it with this one, which is an ideal example. The next thing you want to consider is using mulch. Mulch helps suppress weeds as well as creates a more stable temperature environment for your plant's roots. And a very good natural mulch is leaves that you've saved from the previous fall. You can also use hay. Hay is a very good natural option. The last and most important thing to consider is what to grow. The library has a very large collection of seeds, thanks to mainly your donations. And we like to treat the seeds that you all donate. We have a special formula that we've created that helps prevent the seeds from succumbing to garden pests, funguses, and all sorts of nasty bacteria in the soil. As you all know, the availability of garden chemicals like weed killers, pesticides, as well as traditional fertilizers is severely lacking. So the treated seeds are very, very helpful to ensure success. And you can be confident that the seeds you get from our library are treated properly. Okay, so let's talk about some vegetable selections that we recommend that have a better chance of growing in your garden. We're going to start out with leafy greens. And the first one, of course, is lettuce. I bet you didn't see that one coming. Lettuce is fast growing and versatile. We have several different varieties here like romaine and butterhead. You can harvest them multiple times throughout the season, and they're packed with rich vitamins. The next one is spinach. Which is also high in nutrients. It can be harvested multiple times throughout the season. It does really well in colder climates. And it has nutrients like iron and vitamin A and C. Okay, and the last one for the leafy greens is kale, which is hearty, nutritious. Kale is also packed with vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and it can thrive in various conditions, and it even becomes sweeter once it's exposed to frost. Let's move on to root vegetables. And first, of course, is carrots. Carrots are rich in beta-carotene. They grow well in loose, well-drained soil, and they store really well and provide reliable nutrients to your family over time. Next is beets. Both the roots and the greens of beets are edible and nutritious. They tolerate a range of soil conditions, and they're high in a lot of great nutrients like folate, manganese, and fiber. And then we have radishes, which are quick growing and they require a very small space. They can add a lot of flavor to meals, and they're suitable for cold weather planting in the early spring and fall. Next we have tomatoes. Which are in a category of their own. There's tons of different varieties of tomatoes available. They're rich in vitamins A and C. They're very versatile in cooking. They can be grown in containers or in the soil, and there's several different varieties to grow. Next are green beans. Which are really easy to grow. They're very productive. They provide fiber, vitamins, minerals, and they can be harvested continuously throughout the season. And then we have peas. They tend to thrive in more cooler weather. They can be in fresh, canned, or frozen. They can provide protein, fiber, and many other essential nutrients. And next we have herbs. So we'll start with basil. It enhances the flavor of so many dishes, and it grows really well in containers. Then we have parsley. Which is rich in all sorts of vitamins. It's a very versatile in cooking, and it also grows well in containers. And then I'll throw in here mint, which is an amazing tea. It's a prolific grower in containers and really anywhere in your garden. Finally, I would like to remind you that the library has tons of gardening resources. We now have the soil testing kits. We have tons of gardening books covering a wide variety of gardening topics. We have frequent workshops and seminars. And here at the library, we are all experts and very interested in gardening. And please talk to your community members and discuss the variety of problems or solutions that you come up with. We also have our seed exchange program. Come borrow seeds from us, and at the end of the season, bring your seeds back. We will treat them, and they will go out to another patron. And in conclusion, our current world presents us with a lot of different challenges when it comes to gardening, but with the right strategies and the right preparation, we can all be successful and have very prolific and fruitful gardens. So thank you so much for your attention, and I wish you luck in your gardening endeavors.